Imagine you're standing in a British supermarket staring at the dairy aisle, rows of white cartons, some labeled whole, others skim, organic. Lactose-free milk is everywhere. Now picture this. What if instead of milk, your fridge held pig milk? Rabbit milk? How about whale? Sounds bizarre, right? So why, out of thousands of mammals on Earth, did we end up building an entire global food system around one times animal's milk, specifically, from a creature that weighs over half a ton and gives more milk than any kid could dream of drinking? Let's rewind. About 10,000 years ago, somewhere in the Fertile Crescent, a group of early farmers made a quiet decision that would ripple through human history. They began to keep cattle not just for meat or labor, but for something far more delicate, milk. At first, it wasn't even safe for most adults to drink. Why? Because back then, nearly every grown human was lactose intolerant. Your body simply stopped producing the enzyme needed to break down milk sugar after childhood. Drinking fresh milk meant bloating, cramps, and worse. So how did milk go from biological mismatch to breakfast staple? Here's where things get surprising. Around 7,500 years ago, in what's now Central Europe, a small genetic shift appeared in some populations. A mutation allowed certain adults to keep digesting lactose long after infancy. It didn't spread overnight, but over generations, as people who could tolerate milk survived droughts and famines better, thanks to a reliable source of calories and hydration. That gene became common. In other words, milk didn't just feed us, it changed our DNA. We domesticated cows, yes, but in a way, they also reshaped us. But again, why cows? Let's compare. Pigs produce milk, sure, and a sow can have up to 14 teats. But here's the catch. Their milk letdown reflex only triggers when piglets nuzzle and squeal, and the actual flow lasts less than half a minute. Try milking that on a farm schedule. Not practical. Rabbits? Even shorter nursing windows. Tiny yields. Goats give decent milk, and camels produce a surprisingly nutritious kind. Slightly salty, yes, but packed with antibodies. Still, neither comes close to the sheer volume of a modern dairy cow. Take the Holstein Friesian, the black and white breed you'd recognize from any rural field. One of these animals can produce over 30 liters, about 65 pounds of milk per day. That's like filling 2 large garbage bins daily, every single day for 10 months straight. Over a year, that adds up to more than 9,000 kilograms. No other land mammal even comes near. Elephants? Only about 50 liters in total times, during an entire nursing cycle. Blue whales produce vastly more, but good luck herding one into a barn. Then there's temperament. Cows are, by nature, calm and predictable. They adapt well to routines, even lining up patiently for milking twice a day. Try doing that with a donkey or a wild goat. And unlike pigs or horses, cows don't panic easily during handling. For ancient herders and modern farmers alike, safety and efficiency matter. You're not going to build an industry around an animal that kicks you every time you approach. Now, taste and nutrition sealed the deal. Cow's milk has a mild flavor, not too sweet, not too strong. Compare it to sheep's milk, which is rich and gamey, or mare's milk, which is thin and slightly sour. Neither caught on globally, but cow's milk? Its protein-fat balance makes it ideal for turning into butter, cheese, yogurt, preserved forms that solved the spoilage problem for centuries before refrigeration existed. And speaking of spoilage, until the 1800s, fresh milk was risky stuff. Without pasteurization, bacteria multiplied fast, especially in warm weather. In medieval Europe, milk was seen as peasant food, something the poor drank because they couldn't afford wine or beer. The wealthy avoided it, fearing illness. But then came Louis Pasteur's breakthrough in the 1860 seconds, heating milk just enough to kill dangerous microbes without destroying its nutrients. Suddenly, milk became safe. Then, in the 20th century, ultra-high temperature processing and sterile packaging meant milk could travel across countries without spoiling. Refrigerated trucks and supermarket chillers completed the chain. Milk went from fragile rural product to shelf-stable commodity. By the 1942, governments took notice. In post-war Britain and America, planners saw milk as a tool for national strength. School lunch programs mandated it. Posters showed rosy-cheeked children growing tall and smart, all thanks to a daily glass. A pint a day keeps the doctor away, they might as well have said. Japan, rebuilding after World War II, launched campaigns promoting milk to increase average height and energy levels. The message was clear. Milk wasn't just food. It was progress. Yet today, science urges caution. While milk delivers calcium, vitamin D, and high-quality protein, it's not essential for everyone. Many adults thrive without it. Lactose intolerance still affects around 65% of humans worldwide, especially those of East Asian, African, and Native American descent. Plant-based alternatives now line the same shelves: soy, oat, almond. Some argue dairy farming carries environmental costs. Others question whether promoting milk universally ignores biological diversity. So is milk truly the perfect food? Probably not. But at times is times, a remarkable example of coevolution between humans, animals, and technology. From a risky folk drink to a symbol of health and modernity, milk's journey reflects how culture, biology, and innovation shape what ends up in our glasses. It wasn't destiny that made cows our primary milk source. It was a mix of genetics, geography, and ingenuity. And while future diets may rely less on bovine secretions, one thing remains. The story of milk is, in many ways, the story of us trying to make nature work for us, one glass at a time.